Hello, my darling flowers of Lincoln. I have a very important topic I would like to discuss. So, welcome or welcome back to yet another fun episode of Love and Deep Discussion. Okay, first of all, Zayn decided that he loves me like the most, I feel like, because I have never had this happen where I get a second copy of any limited card. This is the first time. I just did a random 10 pull on like 2 or 3 days ago because I was trying to get the second outfit crate to get Silas's suit for this Witness by Deep Space banner. And Zayn was like, babe, I'm coming through for you again. Take my white suit for you. So here we are. So, and I also recently reached level 100 affinity with Zayn on like 5th of July, I think. I'm already level 103 with him, and I recently reached level 100 affinity with Raphael as well. Silas is 99, so I'm like pretty close to reaching level 100 with Silas as well, which is insane because I have way more 5-star cards for Silas than I do for Raphael. That's pretty insane. Anyways, coming to the meat and potatoes of what is this, you must have clicked on my thumbnail and must have been like, girl, what is she on about? What is the feature that Love in Deep Space so desperately needs? I'ma tell you, okay? Now, big shout out to this TikToker that I follow. I absolutely love her Love and Deep Space content. Her name is Z. And I just saw on her story earlier today that she plays a game called Tears of Themis. Now, Tears of Themis is also a mobile gacha otome game which released in 2020 in China, and globally on the global server it released in 2021. So, and the game is celebrating its 4th anniversary. It is also an otome dating simulator game where you are an attorney or a lawyer and you have to solve these cases with 4 very attractive male love interests. In other words, you are a rookie attorney with high hopes for the future who becomes entangled deeper and deeper into a great conspiracy throughout your investigations. And it's rated pretty highly on both the App Store and the Google Play Store. And rightly so. I mean, it does have a very unique gameplay mechanic, but the most important feature, or the most insanely revolutionary feature that stands out to me, and I wish Love and Deep Space can learn from them and implement this feature sooner rather than later, is something called a Memories of Love feature, which they recently introduced in April this year. A quick summary of what this is. Memories of Love is a card milestone system in which points will accumulate according to the rarity of obtained cards. This system was added or implemented on the 17th of April 2025, and it tells you how you can access them from your in-game phone on the bottom left, the male lead icon, and then the Memories of Love button icon will be displayed on the top right of the screen. Now, I have recently downloaded Tears of Themis. I think 2 or 3 days ago, I just started playing it. I knew about the game last year, but for some reason, I just never felt the need to download it, just simply because I cannot really manage that many gacha games personally. Like, I prefer to just play 1 or 2, which is why Love and Deep Space and Infinity Nikki are the only 2 gacha games that I do play on mobile, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. But for Tears of Themis, I had to download because I saw the 4th anniversary trailer, and there were a few other trailers that really stood out to me that were extremely aesthetically pleasing. And I have a huge crush on Vin, which is the white-haired, golden-eyed boy man. I mean, from the game, he reminds me so much of Kiryu Zero from Vampire Knight. So that's probably why I immediately crushed on him, and he's like my instant favorite. But I am getting way off topic. Let me tell you what exactly this beautiful Memories of Love feature entails. And again, once again, a huge thank you to Z for showing and talking about this on her story on TikTok, because more people need to be talking about this, and I don't know how many people are actually aware of this, and we just need to talk about this more and include this in our surveys. So without further ado, let me show you what it looks like. This particular screenshot is from the character Artem Wing, okay? Now, this Memories of Love page, as you can see, each of the cards that you obtain in the game are segregated into different chapters, so you can clearly understand a defined relationship timeline for each of the characters. So this design or this layout or interface is only for Artem. I will show you the other color schemes and the interface for the other guys. Blossom chapter is supposed to be a timeline where they were just having, a crush on each other or crushing on each other. Sweet chapter is when they start dating, when the MC and the character Artem start dating. Promise chapter is when they get engaged. Dearest chapter is when they move in together. Stellus chapter is the main story, and next to it, alternate chapter are the alternate or AU universe chapters, meaning those cards are from an alternate universe. How incredibly beautiful, and how systematically has this been displayed. Love and Deepspace desperately needs to implement this, because look, we get a clear definition of timeline as to when the cards are happening in their relationship, like when you're crushing on them, when you're actually dating them, when you get engaged, when you move in together, and main story, and the fact that the alternate universe cards are separated as well. This is so good. Like this, we need this, okay? Like Love and Deepspace definitely needs this, and this is definitely something we need to keep writing in our surveys. I will just show you what it looks like for the other guys before I can continue to yap. This is what it looks like for Vin. His whole color scheme is, green. This is what it looks like for Marius. His whole thing is purple. And Luke has this whole beautiful, pretty yellow sunflower kind of theme going on. Now, if I go on the Hoyoverse website, when I wanted to read more about this, they say that after Hoyoverse first announced about the card filter categories last year, we have already seen how the cards are now labeled with different chapters, which indicate roughly their places in the timeline of the relationship between MC named Rosa and the guys. With the latest Vin SSR looking for now, it's clear why they added this feature. Some of you may have noticed the usual dearest label card art at the announcements is now Blossom instead. See, on top of the word Vin in the card, it mentions the word Blossom. So these card filter categories are quite critical in understanding the timeline of the relationship. So as you can see, this new permanent feature is basically a card archive made specific for each character with the conveniently separate chapters to indicate different timelines of the relationship. The albums will be introduced one by one with each individual Dreams and Hereafter event, and will be accessible from the event's main page at first and from the GPS after the event ends. I'm not too familiar with what this GPS feature and everything is, because like I said, I just downloaded Tears of Themis 2 or 3 days ago. So I'm still doing the main story, which is very interesting, by the way, and I'm trying to get a feel for the game. It can be quite overwhelming at first, because as you know, like gacha games generally tend to have like a lot of these menus, but if you take it step by step and watch like a guide or read up on a guide on the wiki, like it should be easy to navigate. And I also got I plan obviously to be a fully free to play player on there, and I already got my first SSR card there, which is like this really cute fluffy cat card for Vin. So that was pretty cool. Beginner's gacha luck probably, but as you can see, these cards are arranged in chapters in an album. There isn't any filter function available aside from getting satisfaction from having a collection filled. I guess it would be a nice hub to marathon card stories as well. I think at the time of this person, when they made this post, they said that the feature was only released for, I don't know, one of the characters, and then the other 3 would get it. Maybe that's why they mentioned that. And then this is what it looks like for the CN side, and about future updates that they intend to add and whatnot. And honestly, this is game changing. Okay, this is a game changing feature. If we look at the affinity levels that we have in Love and Deepspace, there are actually 4 major, if you go into your with him decor section and you click on memo, where the profile picture icon is of the guys, you will notice that there are 4 major affinity levels, right? And these 4 are crush, darling, lover, and devotion. So they already kind of have it as 4 major affinity levels. So if they had to include like a separate screen under the date section, and make like a beautiful timeline, just like how they have in Tears of Themis for each of the 5 guys with the beautifully designed flowers, and each of the guys designated flowers, and call it like crush chapter, darling chapter, lover chapter, devotion chapter, and I don't know what would they call the engagement chapter, and then have the main story separately, and then the alternate universe cards separately. Like for example, they could put the Catch-22 cards over there. Do you know what I'm saying? There is so much potential for this, and this would make the timeline it would make a lot more sense, because I'm sure so many players are confused. Even day one players must be confused. People who started playing during Silas's release, for example myself, when I started playing during mid-August last year during Misty Invasion, even though the cards, even if you have every single card of your love interest from day one, is not really clearly defined which point of time in their relationship did these cards take place. I say this because in some cards they act extremely affectionate towards each other, MC and each of the love interests, and in some cards they act somewhat distant. You know what I'm saying? So it does get confusing when there is no clearly defined timeline. And I mean, I know that, okay, considering Tears of Themis, they took 4 years to implement this feature, which is quite a long time. It would have been really helpful if games like this, like Gacha Otome mobile games, included a feature like this from day one, because that would just make sense, right? So here's to hoping at least, but I mean, all that to say, at least Tears of Themis finally implemented this feature, and it will be so much easier for people to, that's what, like, marathon their cards and clearly get an understanding of what happened during what phase of their relationship. And I really feel like Love in Deep Space desperately, desperately needs this feature, so that will clear up a lot of confusion that we have and help us to make more well-informed decisions about how their relationship has progressed overall. So yes, my darling hunters, what do you think about this feature? Do you think that Love in Deep Space could use an insanely revolutionary feature like this? I'm sure most of you will say yes. But for some reason, if you feel like it won't work out, let me know why. But for those of you who feel like, yes, we definitely need this, let me know your thoughts more. How do you think they can make it better? What other additional suggestions do you have? I would love to have a discussion with you in the comment section below. Until next time, my darling hunters, Zayn and I wish you endless good luck and super early pity on all your future pulls on the banners in Love and Deep Space. Bye bye.